we're live with a video that will probably be less than an hour because I have nothing to show, no maximal power entry, no liberation entry. So Jeff,
yeah,
what did you think?
that would be some stretching if we made it an hour.
Oh yes.
Although, I mean, it was that long. I mean, it was actually longer than any of the TV episodes.
Yeah,
but it didn't feel like or it wouldn't have if we hadn't had so many technical interruptions.
Oh yes, it was a nightmare, folks.
But we got through it, and it was good. I liked it.
You see, I thought that. You see, I bet you're glad you're unpredictable. I can't really predict which ones you like, which ones you don't.
Well, you know, it was cool. Like I said, it was somewhat Star Trek-ish in the plot, you know, because they pretty much kept it all on the ship, and the kind of plot of, like, you know, the crew being against each other is not, you know, that's been done by some other shows, including Star Trek. But I like that sort of thing because it sort of throws a wrench into things and makes things interesting. Like, you know, obviously I figured out before they sort of revealed it that you know, that there was obviously not. I don't know how to say it. I'm tired too. There was something weird going on besides just, you know, it wasn't just like one of the crew was doing a bunch of stuff. That there was something else going on. So, and they set it up to sort of make you think, oh well, is it this person or is it this person, and then kind of came to a conclusion before they actually said it that, you know, there's something weird going on where it's not. You know, it's not actually one of the crew is behind this. It's something else. You know.
Yeah, it's sort of like.
And they sort of set it up to be like you're thinking, oh, well, if it is any of them, then it's Avon himself because he's the only one that doesn't seem to be affected by anything. Because he's the one that's talking to everybody else and not the one that's freaking out or telling anybody they're going to kill him or anything, you know. So, yeah. So the real reveal of that is the point where he says that he wasn't on the bridge because he couldn't get through the door. So that's the point at which, you know, you really kind of like, oh, okay. So it's not him. It's really just something else.
Yeah. So this is the CD cover, folks. Like the big perm there. This is the back of the plot. It's written by Justin Richards. Directed by Ken Bentley. An attack by Travis and a squad of Federation pursuit ships leaves the Liberator damaged, his engines in desperate need of repair. Blake is forced to take his ship into the derelict zone, which is filled with hundreds of drifting spacecraft that never made it out alive. ... The same fate awaits his crew, because the time long expected has come, and one of them has turned traitor.
I don't know if it's something that you can do or whether it's just that way, but like your microphone sounds a lot more staticky than normal.
Like, sorry, I had it pointed. I had it pointed at the speaker in order to show.
Yeah, that's better.
Sorry. Yeah, I'll just kill the mic while I put it back.
All right.
Yeah, sorry about that. I probably seemed like I was like distant.
Yeah, I mean, but it was still like, it was still trying to pick up your voice, so it was just like your voice was there, but there was more background static.
Yeah.
Air sound.
Yes. Yeah, it's a directional mic. Right. So yeah. What did you give that out of 10?
I guess a 7.
Oh, that's pretty good. That's high for you.
But it was enjoyable. I mean, like I said, if we hadn't had problem where we had to take breaks. Or I don't know. That may have actually helped because it was sort of like we had episodes.
Yeah, it was.
But
It was
yeah,
like it was like in
it-
4 or 5 parts. It
Yeah.
got crazy.
So I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Is it because yeah, sorry about that. Is it because it sort of like emphasized relationships and things like that?
Well, I mean, it was compelling. The whole time it had stuff going on. There was like drama and action and stuff. It wasn't just a bunch of like. There wasn't any chanting or smirk contests or of course that would have been on video anyway. But I mean, they kept something happening the whole time. The sound production's great and the actors were good, and just the voices. You could tell a few of them have changed a bit since
Yeah.
they were on the TV show, but you could still tell who was who and everything. So
Yeah.
I noticed. I started the Blake sounded a lot like the Colin Baker does when he's older, so they sounded somewhat similar. Because I was trying to think, I heard his voice and I was like, who does he sound like? Because he sounds like somebody I've heard in like Doctor Who audios, and then I was like, I think it's just Colin Baker's voice. So yeah, they have a similar inflection and kind of way that the way that they pronounce words and stuff, and like sort of the emphasis and sounds similar.
Did you think of the sort of opening sequence with Travis and like that action sequence?
Well, I figured out it was the new Travis because he has that thing in his voice. And see, I don't know. I'm totally ignorant when it comes to like English accents, so I don't know if this is a regional thing or what. But they all, most of them sound. We've talked about this before. Accent, even if they were trained to do it that way. But he has that thing where like certain words he says or certain phrases he hits this. So it's like, I told you, Blake.
Yes.
Yeah, in a different way, and all of a sudden he's like, oh, he's different. And that was actually because I knew the voice was older. That was how I could tell it was that actor and not the first one, was because of the way that he said certain words.
Yeah, what he probably is, he's probably one of those actors that hasn't changed his voice totally. Like, and he's like doing a posher, more Shakespearean accent, and then suddenly sometimes goes back probably into his normal speaking voice.
Yeah.
That might be it, yeah. Now, some of the points you made cut out. You said something about an accent, but then it cut out about a second before then. Did you say Shakespearean accent, theatrical accent, stage accent? Because the sound cut out.
No.
What did
Well, you
say?
responded like you knew what I said.
Well,
Your response made sense.
I had a vague idea from the context. I was just wondered what you said.
Yeah, the actor who plays Travis.
Yeah.
That's how I knew it was the new guy, because the old one didn't have that accent where it's like certain words he says or the way he says them, he suddenly slips out of that I forgot what they called it, but like the like RP or something like that.
Yeah. It's a little. You see, it's not quite that, because when someone speaks in RP in English, there's sort of like there's certain class cues in it, the way they can be in certain, say, New England accents.
Yeah. Well, there's something about just the way he says certain things where it's mostly at the end of sentences where I suddenly noticed that he sounds different. So that was sort of my clue. Blake goes, so I knew. But then when the voice, I could tell the difference was, like I said, that those little words would say. You know, like the way he says Blake.
Yeah.
Blake.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
if I could remember any of the actual lines, then I would say, but I can't remember. So I don't know what he said.
And then we've got. Yes, so as you know, there were like before Pressure Point, they were like leaving little hints about Federation Central Control and stuff like. They mentioned it a little bit in maybe Shadow and a little bit in Horizon. Yeah. And so they found out. The find out is called Star One in the penultimate episode, and I forgot.
It's been ruined forever, so now I just have to give up.
Oh no! It's just the name. You only find out the final episode. You'll actually find out what Star One means and why it's called that.
All right. I made a fighting game character called Jam One once.
Oh. Right. Is that? Well, of the 6. Oh yes, another thing I felt that was good about it, I think the cast came through. It did demand quite a bit of acting from them, because all of them got into an emotional state. Really, apart from Avon. I think you mentioned that you thought the acting was okay. Because that could have been a risk for people that were a bit rusty. Yeah, so he sounds a bit poor at the moment. Right. I think once Jeff's sound is back.
Was it? Can't hear me?
Yeah, your sound was getting poor. So I think generally, if we just finished. So the acting was quite good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know, they had to get pretty upset and emotional. Right.
Yeah,
I've not got anything. Yeah.
Kind of missing from Avon's voice is there's a certain kind of like nasally thing that he has in his voice that his older voice didn't have. So that was the only thing sort of missing from that. But yeah, I mean they did a good job playing the distressed versions of themselves.
Yeah. And then I mean, we just listened to it before, folks, about the end, which was, I mean, the main arc point was that they now have to go on a detour from their search to Star One, and actually find out that there's this thing out there to rival Aurak, and they have to try and find out what it is and deal with it, because as they said at the point that if the Federation have this thing that can do what Aurak does, then they're going to have a big problem.
Like named after some Russian guy or something.
Yeah, Mikolov or something like that. Right, and we can say more about that in future episodes, folks. So, have you got anything else to say, Jeff?
We lost our first kick. It was a valiant effort, so we didn't.
Pardon, what was that? His sound went. Pardon?
Forget it.
Yeah, so your sound was getting a bit. Going a bit peculiar. Right, so. Oh, right. Okay. Well, what I'll do is I can end this now by saying, and you can do your closing thing as well. It's goodbye from me, and you can do your gimmick.
Closing thing, closing thing.
Right, okay, I'll stop it now.
Bye.